So you might find that after you put on your tinted moisturizer or your foundation and it's a little tacky or damp and you try to go in with your bronzer and do this for dramatization purposes, and you're like, why does it look so patchy? And you might think that it's the product because this is what's happening, and you're like, it's not laying flat on my skin. This is something that commonly happens with a lot of people because this is what they're doing. I'm gonna show you how to fix that. Okay, so when you're ready to apply your bronzer, a really quick tip that I picked up along the way is to take a fluffier brush, like an angled one, or like a powder brush is good because it kind of distributes a lot on your cheek. It's not just like in a little concentrated line on your face. This is the Charlotte Tilbury FILMSTAR Bronze and Glow Bronzer. It has a little highlighter on the other side, and I actually really like this product a lot. It definitely lives up to the hype for me personally. So what I'm gonna do is just tap right into that product. I'm gonna tap off the excess. Rubbing it for me has never worked, and this has been the best method for ensuring a clean, even coverage. And this is on top of any cream, any liquid. I know that people say that you need to set your face if you're gonna put powder on top of cream. I found that pressing the product into the skin has really been a game changer for me, and I don't necessarily need to do that anymore. I'm gonna start at the top of my cheekbone, and I bring it down over here. You can kind of move your face around to make sure that everything's looking really evenly distributed. Just bringing it up through the temple area and pressing that product right into the skin, and also just still pretending the electric fence is there. You want to make sure you're just carving out your cheekbones. Lightly pressing around. I'll just kind of bring it up over my brows where the sun would naturally hit you. You don't necessarily need to do that helmet across your head. Glossier WOWDER is my absolute favorite. Feels like nothing on your skin. And I just take a little bit and I'll just clean up underneath that line. Still just pressing it into my skin. Actually, this looks crazy on the camera. I think I applied too much up there. But you know what? You can kind of just like tap it out. Here, it kind of like wipes away any of that bronzer that was underneath there. And this seriously has changed my entire powder bronzer game. I kind of flip-flop between powder bronzer and cream contour, and when I do powder bronzer, I only press it into the skin. I feel like that's the best advice that I can give you when it comes to powder bronzer, especially if you're trying to kind of go for that like glowy look. You can still keep the integrity of the skin look with powder bronzer. It doesn't necessarily need to be cream every single time. I think powder bronzer gives a more like intense sculpting look, and I actually prefer it, especially at nighttime. I might actually just do a blush really fast. This is a really pretty palette. It's the Glowing Pretty Skin palette, and I'm gonna just mix these two shades together, just delicately bouncing it with the brush. And I'm only going for like a really subtle blush today. Bring that blush right into the contour, just kind of like blending everything together, pressing around. Kind of bring it up here. I'll try to blend that out a little bit. That way everything looks really even. And now I'm gonna take my highlighter, and I'm actually going to use a Super Shock cheek highlighter from ColourPop. I know you guys have seen me use this a bunch of times on Instagram, and they are one of my favorite. This is actually a new one that they sent me. It is in the shade Thimble, and it's a gold color, so it's gonna match my green-yellow little color I have on my lid today. So I'm just gonna take a little bit with my finger and just press it right onto the tops of my cheekbones. These kind of have a powder finish to them. They stay dewy, but they're really easy to work with when you're pressing them directly onto the skin. I know that I've seen some people like to use a highlighter brush with these, but I personally feel like these work the best with your fingers, and the same goes for all of their Super Shock products. Their eyeshadows and their blushes. I think that they just look so great when you use your finger. A little bit on the nose. Just tapping all of the product into my skin, all around to make sure everything's blended. You can still do that over powder. You're not gonna mess it up. I hope that you guys enjoyed this techniques video and that you found it helpful. If you like it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel, and I will see you next time. Thanks, bye.